So no one is allowed to sit in the back rows. You have to come close. This is going to be an intimate session in a big room. Welcome. My name is Caleb Dardick. I get to be your facilitator. I'm very proud that Izzy invited me to do this. And I'm serving as the executive director of the South Yuba River Citizens League. Many of you know as CIRCLE. That's right. Woohoo. I heard that, Janet. And we have a great panel here today on mine permitting and reclamation issues. So the way we're going to run this session is we're going to have 15-minute presentations from each of our speakers, and then we will open it up to Q&A. I'm sure most of you know why you are here, but a quick summary of what we're hoping to cover is a focus on mining reclamation, modern mining under SMARA, looking at enforcement in particular and how can we improve enforcement of mine reclamation. You know, one of the examples that we're hoping to talk about today is how can we work to ensure that new mines are permitted appropriately with an eye toward protecting the environment and the community surrounding the mine. And we have community representatives here as well. How can we ensure that there's better financial assurances in place and that inspections occur regularly? Some of the questions and themes that Izzy mentioned earlier. So the first speaker is going to be Pat Perez, and just met Pat, and just great to have you here. Pat is relatively new in his position. When I first got the notes, he'd been in the job 3 months. I think now it's 5 months, right?
6.
6 months, excellent. If we stay here long enough, we'll give you tenure. So he is the Assistant Director, Office of Mine Reclamation at the California Department of Conservation, a post which he's had for 6 months. And of course, he was appointed by Governor Brown. He served as acting supervisor of the Division of Oil, Gas, and Geothermal Resources. And before that, he held a number of managerial and supervisorial positions during a 32-year career at the California Energy Commission. Please welcome Pat.
Thank you so much, and I'm very excited to be here today. I was here last night for some of the opening presentations. I see a number of you were with me last night. It was a great way to kick off the conference and focus our attention on ultimately designing solutions. So how many of you attended this morning's pre-SMARA legacy mine discussion out there? See a couple of you. Well, great. Well, this afternoon I'm going to focus more on the role of Department of Conservation's Office of Mine Reclamation's work with respect to current operating mines and some of the challenges we face there, as well as those that are yet to fully reclaim their sites. But I think what I will start with, first of all, is give you a little background on the Office of Mine Reclamation and where it fits in. The Office of Mine Reclamation was established back in 1991, and we provide really oversight to lead agencies throughout the state of California on the administration of the Surface Mining and Reclamation Act that was signed into law by Governor Brown back in 1975. There are roughly about 133 lead agencies in this state, comprised of about 55 counties and 78 cities, and it also includes a number of dredging entities that report directly to the State Mining and Geology Board. The graphic behind me kind of shows you the overview of where the Office of Mine Reclamation lies within the state of California's public services infrastructure. And as you can see, we are under the Department of Conservation, which is overseen by Director Necadome, report to Secretary Laird as part of the umbrella of the Natural Resources Agency, and of course report to the Governor and to you, the citizens of California. So the second figure here, see if I can get it here, is what I call the circle of key stakeholders in the mining industry. And And as many of you know, if you're going to disturb more than an acre or remove over 1,000 cubic feet of material, then there are 3 things you must do under the Surface Mining and Reclamation Act, and that is 1, you must have a permit in place. Secondly, a reclamation plan to restore the site to a usable use down the road. And most importantly, the finances, the money, and assurances that these sites will be reclaimed as specified in the adopted reclamation plan. So with that, as you can see up there, we also have the lead agencies. And this is where the real decisions are made from my perspective, because the lead agencies have the local land use authority under our California Constitution, and they are responsible for enforcing the various aspects of the Surface Mining and Reclamation Act. And interestingly enough, California is really the only state in the nation where mining is not regulated at the state level. It's vested with local government. So that is a big difference from how we manage mining operations throughout the state. Lead agencies, they're responsible for issuing the permits, performing the environmental reviews, as well as conducting inspections, reviewing the reclamation plans that are prepared by the operators. They also review and approve the financial assurances, as well as enforcing any local ordinances that are established by local cities and counties. The State Mining and Geology Board that is also up there plays a very significant role. They also oversee a couple local jurisdictions, as well as some dredging operations down in the Bay Area. And they really serve as the public policy as well as the appeals board for overseeing some of the mining operations throughout California. And they are actually housed within the Department of Conservation, but they do possess some autonomous responsibilities. And so to some extent, they act as an independent appeals board. With respect to the State Mining and Geology Board, they're comprised of 9 members serving staggered 4-year terms. Each one of them is appointed by the governor and must be confirmed by the Senate. And I do know, I don't know, is Brian Anderson out in the audience? I believe he has a confirmation hearing in about 2 hours, so maybe he took off to prepare for that. So, and Stephen Testa actually oversees the State Mining and Geology Board. That board also develops and adopts regulations and establishes the standards for reclamation plans. And they also review and certify any local mining ordinances that are established and put into place by either cities and counties. And so those are all very important activities. And then they also act as an appeal board for any enforcement actions that are initiated by the Department of Conservation and Office of Mine Reclamation. We also have, not showing up here on this slide, there's another important sliver of that pie, which is the California Geological Survey. And they also play an important role under the Surface Mining and Reclamation Act. And our state geologist, Dr. Perez, is responsible for, classifying the land in terms of the resource potential that is out there to make sure that local governments are aware of the significance as well as the geographic distribution of resources in our state so that they're included in the local land use decision making by local counties and cities. We also have, now we move into the office that I'm actually overseeing, which is the Office of Mine Reclamation, and we're responsible for basically technical oversight and assistance, as well as reviewing many of the products that are generated by not only the mining operators, but also the lead agencies. And happy to report that I do have Beth Hendrickson in the audience over here, who oversees all of our environmental work and the reclamation plans that come out of the Office of Mine Reclamation. And so I'm very excited to have her here. I think Glenda Marsh may join us. I'll also have Ian McLeod, one of our environmental scientists, in the room today. And they do an outstanding job. So in terms of providing support and all, we are also, if indeed we find that there are issues with some of the enforcement and the progress that is being made or not made by lead agencies, we can consider taking additional actions, which include opening up more of investigations to gather more facts and information with respect to deficiencies in terms of the administration of the Act. We can also go out and conduct independent inspections, go into the field to look at what is going on at these mine sites and compare it to what's in the reclamation plans. We also have the ability to issue violations, which we have done in the past. And if those violations are not successful, we can also move forward with what's called orders to comply, and certainly if things get really bad, issue administrative penalties, which we have done in the past. The office does maintain a number of databases, and we do have a public web-based Mines Online database that I encourage you to visit to gain information on all the mines throughout California. And we also, by legislation, we maintain a list of those operators who can sell products to local government and to the state of California if indeed they are complying with the major objectives as outlined in the Surface and Mining and Reclamation Act. It's also referred to as the AB 3098 list, and that is updated quarterly. We also review and submit comments on both reclamation plans and the adequacy of the financial assurances to local agencies. And my geologists, engineers, and environmental scientists also provide a lot of geotechnical as well as enforcement assistance when needed. So we are really serving as an assistance arm with respect to this circle here and providing support where we can. Looks like I'm getting close to running out of time here, so I'm just going to just tell you a little bit about some of the challenges that I think we have faced, and that is with respect to the annual reports that are required over the years. We've had many parties, not most of them, but 100 out of say 1,200 mine operators that tend to be tardy on providing their annual reports to us. We have also observed over the years some of the inadequate financial mechanisms, and the financial cost estimates have been lower than what we believe is necessary, as well as many issues with reclamation plans with respect to lack of erosion control, unstable slopes, and other concerns. So those are just some of the issues that we've been trying to deal with. I want to kind of just end on kind of what we're doing to strengthen the SMARA process, which will feed in nicely with Mr. Craven's legislative fixes. This summer, the Office of Mine Reclamation will launch a lead agency review process that was built on a prior process called the Lead Agency Review Team. For a preview of what we're going to be launching, I did present our preliminary strategies to the State Mining and Geology Board back on, I think it was March 12th. Please visit that website, the Department of Conservation's website, and you'll get an outline of what we're going to do there to strengthen enforcement and compliance. And then also this summer, we have a number of public workshops that are going to be held, including this Thursday and Friday up in Sutter Creek in Amador County. Beth will be leading our efforts on inspection workshops on how to do an inspection, an adequate inspection. And then we have a number of other workshops that are planned this summer that are already scheduled up on our website on the Surface Mining and Reclamation Act. And in addition to that, we are working on 2 other public workshops, one in Orange County and one in Redding, where we're going to take our lead agency review process, the revised process, I might add, share it with the public, operators, lead agencies, get your feedback and input as we work together to develop a more or a stronger system for getting greater compliance. So with that, I think I am just about out of time. What I'd like to do is just thank each and every one of you for your attention and for being here today. And I look forward to responding to your questions here in a few minutes. And I'll turn it back to our moderator. Thank you.